cool.
Hey,
I'm like low key nervous. This is crazy. It's funny.
no worries. Hey, Wesley, how are you?
Yeah. I'm good, Luis. I'm real good, man. How are you?
I'm good. So I just realized that you're from LA, as I am.
Yes,
What
I
part
am.
of
I am. I
LA?
am. I'm from Hacienda Heights, which is like the 606 area. So there's a ton of Asian people there. If you haven't been,
No,
food's amazing though.
yeah, I'm from the
Yeah.
downtown area, and I don't miss it much. Do you?
Mm, not at all, man. I'm never moving back to LA. Like I'm actually questioning going back to the States because I like my life here so much better. So I'm like,
Wait
yeah,
a
man.
minute. Wait a minute. Back it up. Where are you?
I'm in Medellin, Colombia right now.
Wow. All right. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I connected with you because I found you on a website. I am a
Mm,
content creator, like most people at the moment.
nice. Was it Pornhub or like OnlyFans or like I was playing, bro.
Yes. No, it was
Ah,
what is it? Artlist, right? I
Artlist,
was
right? Yeah.
looking for music and I love jazz and I found this album that was playing this melancholic jazz and I'm like, who is this? And I had found other artists before and I tried looking them up and it isn't always as easy to find them. But I heard this song and I'm like, who is this? And I saw and I found you and I was like, what?
Nice.
And it was so great to be able to connect with you. So I really wanted to connect with you on that level.
I appreciate that, man.
But then
Thank you. Yeah.
come to find you're in Colombia. Now, tell us how the heck did you end up in Colombia, Medellin?
Ah, sí. ¿Tú quieres que yo hablo en español o en inglés?
Not yet.
O
Let's
los
keep it in
dos.
English.
Not yet. Ah,
We'll
sí,
go there
bueno,
in a
bueno.
minute.
Okay, cool. So I've always had a dream to live in Latin America, and growing up in LA, there's a huge Latino population there. So in Hacienda Heights, where I was raised, it's 50% Latino and 50% Asian. So I've always been around that culture, and I've always loved the language and going to Mexican parties, bro. You guys know how to turn up, bro. Like it's so refreshing from what I'm used to in Chinese culture. And I don't know, something inside of me, like I've always just had this dream. So I originally thought about maybe, studying music in Argentina or going to Nicaragua or something. But then in January, I had a really big fight with my dad that caused me to just say, fuck it, I'm just gonna go. I moved out of the house and I was looking for the next place to go. So one day I got like a notification on my phone. It was a one-way ticket to Bogota, Colombia for $180. And then I took it as a sign from God. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to Colombia. And ever since I've been here, it was the best decision I've ever made. So
Wow, that's amazing. First of all, has your dad gone to visit you yet?
no, we don't talk. He's not in my life anymore.
Okay, I hope I wish you light on that. We'll touch on that later.
Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
wow, yeah, I don't know if you could have landed in a better place because Colombia is amazing.
It's so good, bro. I love it because it's underrated, like it's not like everybody goes to Peru, everybody goes to Brazil, but Colombia is so amazing and people are just finding out about it. So it's not super touristy populated yet. It's getting there, but it's not quite there yet. So it's like right at that perfect time.
Yeah, keep it from getting there. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody. Yeah, I think it's really. I was there 2 years ago. We were in Medellin, and I
Nice.
just found it to be so different from what you're conditioned to believe Colombia
That's exactly
looks
right.
like, right?
Yeah.
I was really excited to be there, and I was vegan at the time. There's this great
Ah.
restaurant that if you haven't visited, it's called Restaurant Justo, and it's just
Justo.
delicious vegan food.
Nice.
vegan-
Are you not vegan anymore?
Not anymore. It was hard, It was really,
Of
really hard.
course.
Not on me, but on the people around me. My husband
Yeah,
in particular, he's a meat eater, so I just it was causing a rift. So
Yeah.
it's cool. But so tell me, how did your music journey start?
That's cool question. So I started playing piano at 5.5. Like it's a requirement for every Asian to play like piano or violin. So my parents picked piano for me, and I just stuck with it. I always tell people that I'm very lucky because my parents or my mom, she guessed right on my talent, right? And normally in Asian culture, we do these things just for like a resume builder, but turns out I have a natural talent for music. But then I think about that a lot because I don't know if it's I have a natural talent or because I've been exposed to it for so long that I feel like I'm talented, because I started so early.
Sure.
Yeah. But anyways, I started playing piano, and that was my thing. I was trained classically, and I took all the music tests, the British schools of music, and then I took a break when I was 16, last couple of years of high school, just so I can pursue other things. And then when I was in college, I added a music minor that actually changed my life because I joined a music fraternity, and then it brought out my love for music again. And then that's when I started teaching. That's when I started writing, and then that's when I started playing professionally. And yeah, it just kind of took off after that. And then I've been writing and producing music ever since. And now, even though I don't have all my equipment, I still produce music. And for my YouTube channel, I produce all the music for my YouTube channel.
That's amazing. And I noticed that you not only create jazz, but you have various styles that you write in. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah, I write. So it depends how you're feeling. You know, like you're a creator too, so you know exactly what it's like. I create a lot of hip hop, some EDM stuff. Lately, I've been just making a lot of instrumental background stuff because my YouTube channel is my focus right now. And then for my personal stuff, there's like some indie rock influence. There's some R&B influence. There's some pop influence, and that's what I create for my stuff. But I have an album that I release, or I'm about to re-release, like a remastered version, which is pretty much like a hip hop R&B album with some EDM in there too. So. Yeah, it's whatever I'm feeling, bro. Whatever God gives me, you know.
Has Colombia influenced your music in any way yet?
No. Okay, so not quite, because here in Colombia, I mean, I'm sure you can attest to this too. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of reggaeton before coming, and now I'm a little more of a fan of it. But all of reggaeton sounds the same because the drum pattern is the same, and that kind of bugs me, you know. But slowly but surely, I'm liking it. I'm actually releasing a video on my YouTube channel today. I did a cover of La Canción by J Balvin and Bad Bunny because that song I actually really like. But as far as my creating goes, it hasn't influenced me yet, but I definitely want to dabble into it, especially when I have my full equipment so I can write some more jazz. I'm definitely going to have a lot of salsa influence in there, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah,
Latin jazz that I'm sure you can tap into. It would be amazing.
absolutely.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite things right now of being in a foreign land? I mean, when I was a kid, I always dreamt about moving to Paris. It was either Paris or New York, right?
Ah,
It
nice.
was just easier to go to New York than it was to Paris, which is fine, but I'm still kind of bummed about it. But
Right. Do
picking
you
up,
think you think in the future you would go to Paris?
I kind of want to be an old man smoking cigarettes in post-apocalyptic Paris. Yes, I
Yeah.
still see it in my future, but you know what it is? My brother studied Italian.
Uh,
So he has a degree and he lived there. And through him, I learned some Italian and learned about the culture and went to Italy. Dude, the Italians are so sweet. They're
yeah.
so nice. They're lovely
Yes.
people. Meanwhile, all of my life, I've learned French and they're snooty as hell, do not want you to speak their language, are not
Yeah.
interested in accommodating you. So I was like,
Yes.
oh my God, I've been wasting all of my time on these people.
Right.
Come to find out that Italians are super sweet and want you to speak their language.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Like when I went to Italy, okay, so I would say the closest thing to Latin America is probably Spain, obviously, but Italy was a close second. Like I really loved my time there, and I agree with you with France. Like they're very snooty, you know. I think they consider themselves more elegant, so they value different things. But I think the cool thing about France is how they value art so much. You know,
Yeah.
art is such a big part of their culture that if you're an artist and you want inspiration, Paris is cool. I can see that. But when I went to Paris, I didn't care for it, to be honest. I thought it was like gross and kind of boring. But Italy was dope.
Well, you know what it was with France, and as an expat, you might appreciate this. I mean, people who went to Paris during the wars, they became French, right? They assimilated to the culture, and they were welcomed for the most part, right? And
Yeah.
that being a Mexican kid growing up and feeling like an other, you know, I'm like, oh, I want to go somewhere where I'm appreciated and kind of embraced. So that always stuck in my mind. Has that been your experience in Colombia?
Well, it's funny that you say that because I don't share that opinion. For me, it's always like I think people are going to. I feel like people are going to accept me no matter where I go based on my personality. I think that's what matters. You know, I think a lot of people focus too much on race, and for me, being here in Colombia, I get stared at all the time. But I don't think it's people trying to be mean. they're just very curious about Asian culture. Like I have a lot of Colombian friends, and they're just like, "Oh, you're Chinese? Can you tell me about that?" They're so like fascinated by it, you know. And my goal was always to assimilate. So um, I being here has been really great. Well, I think Colombian people, just Latin people in general, are just so warm that it was easy for me to fit in. And I've had such a good time here. And plus, because I speak the language and I wanted to learn the language, like my experience has been nothing but great. You know?
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Have you found? I find that in most Latino major cities, there's always a barrio chino. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So there's
Yes,
always
but
been a relationship with the Chinese culture and the Latino culture to some extent.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so that is it's good you say that. So in Chile, I know there's a big Korean population. In Brazil, there's the second biggest Japanese population in the world, and there's a big Chinese population in Venezuela. But in Colombia, there's not an Asian population.
No way.
Yeah,
Huh.
so it's the one country. Oh, Peru has a lot of Chinese people too, actually, and a lot of the people are mixed. But Colombia, for some reason, there are not a lot of Asian people here.
Wow,
So
that's amazing. So you're really representing, you're really educating as you
that,
go.
which is my goal for my YouTube channel, right? Like I want to talk about the culture here in Colombia and to my Asian brothers, and then eventually, if I get blessed, or I want to find a girlfriend here, which I'm pretty sure is going to happen, and then take her to Asia and then educate or talk about the Asian culture in Spanish with my girlfriend and do that thing. So that's like my future plan for my channel.
I love it. It's like an anthropological experiment on
That's,
YouTube in real time.
that's exactly right. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Amazing. So did you learn Spanish in California or did you learn it in Colombia?
So I did a little self-teaching of Spanish. My last girlfriend, she was half Mexican and she spoke a bit. So I kind of learned a little from her, but I just listened to podcasts. I did some self-study. But to say that I knew Spanish before coming, I don't think that's true because when I came, I took a placement test with a Spanish school and they put me in week 2. So I'm like, all right, okay. My Spanish was not good. But just over my time here, because I've been very dedicated to it and because I love the language so much, I've slowly just started learning and learning and learning.
That's
So,
fantastic. What's been
yeah.
the biggest shock of being an expat?
This is the first time where I really feel like an other in that sense, you know. A lot of people talk about that in the States, you know, and when Black people talk about racism, obviously there's a lot of history there, and they're kind of in their own league. And for me, as an Asian person, I didn't grow up in a white neighborhood. I grew up in a Latino and an Asian neighborhood, so I never felt ostracized, you know.
Mm.
And then when I went to college, I was one of the. There wasn't a lot of Asian people there, but it was still so culturally diverse that I didn't feel super ostracized. But then here, it's like I stand out so much. Like everybody on my block knows me. When they see me, like you can't miss this, you know. So it's the first time that I felt really like, oh wow, I'm so different than the people who live here, you know. And
Is that something you
but
embrace?
I do, yeah. I'm glad you say that. It's one of my things is like rather than blending in, why not just stand out? You know, I know what I look like. I'm not gonna be wearing like fancy, expensive shit, but I know what I look like. I'm gonna dress the way I want to dress because at the end of the day, I'm Asian and I'm proud. You know, and and I think that's how people should be because I'm here. I'm not here to fight. I'm not here to do anything. I'm here to assimilate into the culture and educate, and then through my YouTube channel show how great it is here, so eventually more people can come, and then we have a lot more cross culture blending and stuff. So yeah, I think you should embrace your uniqueness.
I love that. I love your mentality with that. So I moved into a very exclusively white building, typical New York building where it's like 40 floors, and in a very white neighborhood. And I'm probably one of the only Latinos. I'm definitely, me and my husband are the only brown Latinos. So the other Latinos are white. And
Nice. Is your husband Latino too?
he is. He's from the Dominican Republic.
Nice,
So we're
bro.
both brown.
Wait, say that again. You cut out.
We're both brown, but we speak very different Spanishes.
Yeah, bro. Dominican Spanish is
Very different. Another league. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's very different. But
Yeah.
so when we got here, it took a minute to adjust because when you go into the elevator, nobody says hi unless you have a dog, right? And it was like, wait, no, I can't take it personal. I mean, they don't even see anybody, right? It's not this like attack on me or like we're purposely ignoring you. It's just
Yeah.
like no, they're just going about their lives, and I just don't even register, and that's fine,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, right. I'm glad you say that because I think a lot of people, if you go in with the frame of people are racist, you're gonna take a lot of things as racist when they're not. It's not quite like that, you know. And
Yeah,
I think the world just feeds to you what you put out. So it's funny. I posted a video about Asian racism, and a lot of my Asian friends from the States, they kind of had disagreeing opinions with me. They thought I was being insensitive, but what I said resonated a lot with international people, right? And a lot of them said the same thing you're saying is like them ignoring me. I don't think they're being racist. Like you said, they just like that's just what they know. That's just how the culture is, especially in New York. There's so many people. Like I think it's common. The more people there are in a city, the less friendlier they tend to be.
yeah. Well, I mean, also, I think it's just really interesting what happens when you leave the United States. Like your view just goes, right? Because
Right.
we're trained to operate in this system that is racist, right? Like it is very much about race. It's very much about you lived in a predominantly Latino and Asian community that was designed that way. You know what I mean? Like let's put them over here. So unless you go out of your way to mix with other races, it's not going to happen. So
Mm-hmm.
that's an American thing, right? So like I
Yeah, that's true, huh?
totally no. I always think about going to London. When I went to London and met or met black people, they did not have the same hangups that black people here have. Or when I went to
Yeah.
Thailand, they do not have the same hangups that Asian people have here because Thai people were never colonized. They're super
Mm.
proud and they stand up. They don't bow to anybody other than through humility, which was like mind blowing. You know,
Wow. Yeah.
like
Huh?
like Mexicans in the U.S. and in Mexico, they bow wanting your tips. You know,
Yeah.
it's not like I see your soul. So I think that's really interesting. That needs to be said. But I love that you can experience that completely different in Colombia because it's such a different context, right?
Yes. Right. Well, I think the thing with America is because there's no set social. Okay, so I think it's great that America is so diverse, but it's also its biggest problem because there's no American culture, so to say. So it's just constant battle. It's just constant culture battle of everybody trying to put in their culture, and I think that's why people are segregated into their communities because instead of assimilating into the culture, they kind of want to start their own culture in America, right? Whereas for all like especially European countries, Latin countries, and Asian countries, they have such a rich history. If you go in trying to set up your own culture, they're gonna tell you to fuck off, right? Like
Yeah.
and which is why coming to Colombia, I'm like, I tell my tourist friends or people wanting to come here, don't expect trying to like have Western ideas and values and bring them here. You have to like follow the rules of the land, And if you assimilate and you respect the culture and the people, they're going to embrace you with open arms.
That's yeah, absolutely. That's fantastic. I agree with that. I mean, I think the only issue with that is that I think the U.S. kind of promises this American dream, and doesn't fully deliver. But let me ask you, being in Colombia, being so far away, what are you seeing from back home? Like, what is your perception of what's going on with us right now?
That's funny you say that. To be honest, I just ignore it. For me, I don't pay attention to the news because all the news does is make you fearful and like it's just junk. They're just feeding you shit into your head and it just messes with your mind. And for me, I'm so focused on my music and my videos and learning Spanish. I just don't have time to worry about that stuff. And for me, it doesn't affect. Well, it doesn't affect me. I'm living here now and now I'm more concerned with my community. The quarantine wrecked a lot of people. There's a lot of homeless people on the street, so I'm more concerned of trying to like, all right, I'm maybe buy some food and give to people on the street or that kind of thing. So I'm just I'm glad you asked that because I talked to my sister and she's back in the States, but I'm so far removed from the U.S. and L.A. purposely that it's hard for me to have an opinion on anything that's going on there.
That's really interesting. So, when I moved to New York when I was 19, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm moving. I'm just gonna be here, and I'm gonna build myself." And I did that, and it felt really good. And I didn't have those ties to my family in LA. I mean, we stayed in contact, obviously, but I didn't feel like I needed to be responsible to anybody or keep notes for anybody. It was just about me. I'm taking care of myself. I'm gonna do what I have to
Yeah.
do, and I think that really helped in the sense that I didn't have baggage.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I'm just starting from scratch, and and it made me happy, and I'm happy, right? Um, but now, 20 years later, I'm still super happy. But there's also this little bit of survivor's guilt, because I've made it. I have a happy home.
Mm,
I'm super happy with my husband, happier than I was shown to be in my family growing up. So
right.
part of me wishes, oh, I wish my sisters and brothers and father and mother had this happiness, but they didn't want to come on this journey.
That's
So
exactly right. Yeah, no, oh my God, bro. I'm so happy you say that because I think about that all the time, you know? And I think you deserve to be happy because, like you said, how old are you now? You're 30,
40.
30 something. You're 40. Okay, so you came to New York 20 years ago and you built this life, and nobody sees the struggle, bro. They only see the final product. And for me, I've worked so hard on all my things that like now that I'm slowly getting benefits, I'm more proud of it now, you know? And I totally get you with the whole survivor thing, but other people's happiness and feelings is not my responsibility, you
Absolutely.
know? Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, totally. Now,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about what your goals are with your music. So you say you have a YouTube channel. What are you doing with that? What's the mission of that?
So my YouTube channel, is actually my main focus now because I think that's what's going to get me to that's going to propel my music and my clothing company and everything, right? So my YouTube channel focus is my experience being Asian in Colombia, my journey of learning Spanish in a year. I want to be fluent in a year. And the third one is just like my perspective or just kind of ideas that I have on on life or life lessons that I've learned, you know. And I usually talk about that through stories that have happened to me. So yeah, those are my three main focuses, and I'm actually working on a couple musical projects right now that I'm going to sprinkle into there as well. Because when people search my artist name Wesley Thomas, it's just my music stuff, but I want them to see like my actual channel too. But my main goal for my channel was actually to inspire Asian men because I think Asian men have a huge lack um, of Asian male role models, you know, and our fathers did the best that they could with what they were taught. But I think that a lot of Asians struggle with masculinity because they don't understand what it is, and that's why they have a lot of troubles in the States, especially with dating, you know. And as someone who didn't have a good relationship with my father, I had to pave my own way, and I learned a lot of things. But because of that, I have a lot of things to share, especially with dating. Because for me, I don't think my race has stopped me from dating the women that I want. But then a lot of guys think that way. So by me showing my life and sharing my experiences, hopefully I can inspire Asian men to I can be that role model for Asian men, but I can also inspire them to get out of their own way and get out of their own head and really go for the people and so you know the life that they want to live.
That's amazing. What has been the response?
Very good. Um, it's there's a okay, so I'm still dealing with the haters, you know, because now that I'm starting to climb, you're just gonna get more haters, you know. But I think it's been overwhelmingly positive, like 90% positive. But when you get the hate comment, like like it still stings, you know. Or like someone made a comment saying I was ugly, and it didn't really like bug me, but the way they said it was like a little mean. Like if someone were to make a comment calling you like the FAG word or like making a comment about your sexuality, it's like why is that necessary, you know?
Yeah.
But I think it's part of the process, and something that I've learned is that anything worth or anything that's powerful or impactful to the world is going to threaten the herd mentality. So hate is inevitable, you know? But if it's something that you really believe can change the world, it's your responsibility to share it, you know?
Yeah. I hear a lot of conviction and I hear a lot of passion in your voice and your demeanor. Where did that come from?
From a young age, I learned that passion and energy is contagious.
Mm.
And if you want people to listen to your message, it's like 30% message, 70% delivery, you know? And if you, nobody's going to believe in you or your message if you don't believe in it yourself. So that's actually a comment that's come up on my YouTube videos. They're like, oh my God, bro, your passion and your love for the city of Medellin is contagious. It makes me want to move there, you know? And from an early age, yeah, I just learned that, especially, okay, so here it is. For my music, nobody was supportive of my music until recently when I've been getting success, you know? I had to believe in myself so much when nobody did, and that was really hard. But when if my music is making me feel so excited, then it's got to make other people feel super excited too, you know? Yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, totally. Did
Yeah.
somebody, did you see that reflection of energy in somebody else growing up, or you know what I mean? As you're
Yeah.
contaging people with like this energy, did someone shine that on you, and you're like, yeah, I'm taking that with me?
I don't know. I take a lot of inspiration from just performers and entertainers, being one myself, you know, and I'm just a student of life, you know, and I'm always looking for ways to improve my art and the things that I do. And that's just one of the things I learned along the way, but I can't point to one specific time or person that taught me that, you know.
Nice.
That's a hard one.
Well, I love that you said that, you know, you're working on your art, but you realize that what would kind of get you to your goal was working on your YouTube channel, right? You kind of pivoted. You made a very smart, estimated pivot, and I think a lot of artists have a really hard time making those decisions, right? Because we're like, oh no, I'm doing it for the art, I'm doing it for the passion, just the passion. How did you kind of arrive at that to make those choices?
Because I've seen. Well, I originally started my YouTube channel as a hobby, you know, but then the more I got into it and the more I realized my videos actually inspire and touch people, I've noticed. So the scalability of YouTube is a lot bigger than music, right? So I've been doing music for a year. I have like over 50,000 streams on SoundCloud, and my Spotify is finally getting there. But people don't know who I am. They don't know a face, you know? People are more attached to an art or a channel when they know who they're talking to, which is why I started doing the YouTube thing. Well, so when I was in LA, I started a clothing company too that I really believed in. And starting clothing from the ground up is so hard, but I'm realizing like what's the most important thing is my brand. Like if people can know me as a person, they see my face and they can attach my face to my art, then I can use one platform to bring up all the other ones. And I experimented in a bunch of different ones, but YouTube is the easiest way to get there, especially when I know my shit is good. You know, my content is good, my music is good. So all I need is that time or that one video to blow up, and then it'll bring everything else up, you know?
I love that. That's so good that you have that. Now, I know that you read. I know that you get, you know, educate yourself. What has moved you recently that you've been reading that has kind of been keeping you going with some fresh ideas?
My favorite book of all time is How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a classic, bro. Like it's the Bible. It's a cheat code to life, and a lot of people don't like. Okay, so that I apply that to my art because in that book they talk about you have to say a message not how you want to say it, but how people want to hear it, right? And I applied it to my art. You can't make art that you should make art that you want to make, but you have to make it in a way that people can enjoy. That's the only way to get your art out there, right? So that's one of my biggest ones. I love The Alchemist. Have you read The Alchemist?
Of course, yeah.
Classic, bro. Every time I read it, I get something new. It's so good. And my favorite book lately, Tyson, yeah. And my favorite book lately is It's All in Your Head by Russ. Do you know him, Russ?
No.
Do you know him as an artist?
No. What is it about?
So Russ, he's this rapper, singer guy who he produces, writes, masters all of his own music. He does everything himself, you know. And I love him so much because he his message is all about believing in yourself. I like him for the same reason I like Kanye. And this book is only like an hour and 20 minutes, but it talks about believing in yourself, how to deal with haters, or how to stay focused on the goal when it doesn't seem like things are going your way, you know? And because he was somebody who started at the bottom. Tyson!
You might have to carry your dog.
No.
He's trying to get your attention. He's like, I want
No.
fame too.
He's talking to his friends outside, but we live so high that he has to like scream, you know? But I don't know. I like Russ so much because he's just undeniably himself, and he's so confident in his abilities that sometimes it comes off as arrogance, but has led him to all the success that he's had. And that's something that I really resonate with, because for me, I think too many people focus on complaining what's wrong with the world rather than working on themselves to be an example for others in the world, right? You don't change the world with your opinion, you change it with your example, you know? And I think if a lot more people focused on trying to be the change that they see in the world, then we would have a lot of issues that people keep talking about would take, or we would start fixing it a lot better, a lot faster, you know? But yeah, that's the biggest one that's been in my life lately. I read that a lot.
So let me backtrack a little bit and go into some like icky conversation. You mentioned Kanye.
Yes.
So when we look back at artists, right, like Picasso, like all these other great artists, they tend to be dicks, right? They tend to be like real jerks. And how do you separate the art from the artist, right? The beauty from the jerk, right?
Well, I actually have a different opinion on Kanye than I think you. I actually think he's a good person, and I know he has some things that are controversial or things that get out of context. But for the most part, I see what he's trying to say. I see how his delivery is really shitty, and I can see how sometimes he gets lost in his own success, but I think he's a very interesting case study, because I listened to this Joe Rogan podcast where he talked about Kanye, and it's like Kanye is one of the biggest creative geniuses of our time. His album 808s and Heartbreak has pretty much set the foundation for all of modern R&B. His fashion line, Yeezy, and his shoes, bro, that's one of the biggest ever, you know? So this guy is like a king of fashion and music, which are two really difficult industries to break into, okay? And Joe Rogan said that when you're tapped into that creative wavelength so much, there's no way you can't catch other crazy shit that, if that makes sense. And I think that's what's led to him doing his little episodes, you know?
I totally get what you say with being an antenna and catching different things. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I mean, I think also there's this myth that as artists, we are like, either we're a genius or not. And if you're a genius, it's all you, right? And that's bullshit, right? So
Yes.
my favorite, and this is really weird, my favorite album of all time, and I listen to it nonstop, is this album called 1990, and it's by Enigma. Right? Enigma. Okay. So check it out. It's very weird. It's very like new agey. But I heard it when it came out, and I was 10, and it like just changed my life. I was like, wow. And I'm a collage artist, and that's essentially what this album is. He kind of he sampled all of these like Gregorian chants with like these weird beats from the 90s. So he came out with an album a few years later and a few years after that, and it was horrible. And I was like, why is it so bad? Like every year, and it was cool, like it wasn't that bad. I could get into it, but it wasn't 1990. So then, very recently, 20 years, 30 years later, I'm looking it up, and I'm like, oh, he collaborated with somebody, and this collaboration of these two people made this amazing product. And the other guy left. It was still Enigma-ish, but it wasn't this collaboration, right? And all of these artists like Kanye, there's no way there's no way it's just him making the decisions to design a shoe. He definitely has a team of people coming together, and all this breeds success, and that's fantastic. But like you heard from Seth Rogen, saying that he gets tripped up on his own success, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we fall into that question, like, well, is the money getting in the way? What, you know what I mean? How do you stay a decent person? I guess my question is,
Right.
how do you stay a decent person?
Okay, here, so we're gonna get super philosophical here.
Let's go.
Because I think one of the best things about being an artist is that you're making magic. You're creating something from nothing.
Check.
And when you create something that resonates with so many people, you feel like a god. Do you ever feel that way? Because you're a creator. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like there was nothing there before. You created something and that people really love. So I can see how people, because for me, like when my videos or my music, people love it, bro, I feel like on top of the world, you know? But I still keep myself grounded to know that you have to remember where you came from. But when it's just been success after success after success, I can see how someone could get caught up in that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, my point of view, like after being like 40 and being an artist all my life, like my most successful moments is when I think of what I do and myself as an instrument, right? Like I'm not here to do anything for myself. Like I am here, like literally I'm a wind instrument, it's coming through me and I'm just like, I'm going to deliver. So I can see how if you don't think that you're an instrument, and if you think it's all you, then yeah, it's super problematic.
That's so fair. Hey, that's fair. No, you're so right. You're right. Yeah.
But so tell me, what's next for you? You say you're going to drop this new album. You're going to get a Colombian girlfriend.
Yeah, the dream, bro.
I love that. I love that. Do you plan on going to other Latin American countries?
Yeah.
What's
so I've been to Peru before, Ecuador, Dominican Republic, Mexico, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. And I do want to go to other countries eventually, but at this point in my life, I want a little stability, because for literally every year for the last 4 or 5 years, I've had some issues with my family or some previous friends that I thought were friends that turned out to be very toxic. So I've been moving around so much. So I want to stay in Colombia for a little bit, set up a life, maybe get a dog, and then in the future,
who's that?
It's my roommates. Yeah. I love them though. There's 2, and they're both great. But I'm looking to settle down a little bit here, and then to be honest, I don't know, bro. Like I didn't know I was gonna be here in Colombia with a YouTube channel that's growing a year ago. A year ago I thought my dream was music and songwriting. And if I still want to, I have this big dream show that I want to produce in the future. But, God is, you just got to trust in the universe and God, man. Like you think and then life throws you a bunch of curveballs, and next thing you know, you're booking a one-way ticket to Colombia. So, yeah.
Well, congratulations. I'm so proud of what you're doing, and I really look forward to seeing you do a lot more.
Thank you, man. No, I really appreciate that, bro.
So thank you. So if you guys are listening, stick around. We're going to have a few more minutes of this conversation in Spanish.
Cool.
Wesley, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás?
Todo bien, todo bien. ¿Y tú?
Muy bien. Así es que eres de Los Ángeles, pero
Sí.
¿te encuentras a dónde?
¿Te encuentras? ¿Encontrar?
You find yourself where?
Sí, en este momento estoy en Medellín, Colombia.
Wow. ¿Y qué te parece? ¿Te gusta?
Sí, me parece muy bien. Y el clima y la cultura es muy diferente de la cultura en Estados Unidos, pero me encanta mucho.
El clima, le llaman la ciudad del eterno...
Eterna primavera, sí.
Y algo que no había pensado, porque es la ciudad de la eterna primavera, también es la ciudad de la eterna alergia. ¿Te afecta?
Sí, es interesante porque normalmente soy alérgico de muchas cosas, pero porque en este momento estoy más feliz con mi vida y tengo menos estresivo, mis alergias se fueron, sí.
Qué increíble. Y cuéntame, ¿qué son las cosas que te hacen feliz en Medellín?
Porque el estilo de vida aquí es más simple, ¿sí? Yo creo que en Estados Unidos, porque tenemos una vida muy como like privileged. I don't know how to say that in Spanish.
Privilegiada. Privilegiada.
Privilegiada.
That's a hard one. I couldn't even say that.
That is a hard one. Y creemos demasiadas cosas, pero aquí, porque las personas son más pobres, pero tienen más valores en familia y comunidad y muchas otras cosas. Y a mí la energía de la ciudad es más como, it's like grounded, you know?
Sí.
Sí.
Y es una ciudad muy moderna, ¿no?
Sí, muy moderna. Es la sola ciudad en Colombia con un metro.
Wow.
Y sí. Y es interesante porque hay barrios pobres en las montañas y es como sudamericano regular. Pues hay otros barrios es muy modernos con como edificios muy altos y sí, es un enigma, man. Es muy raro, pero es really nice.
Sí.
Muy, yeah.
Me encanta Medellín, me encanta Colombia.
Sí, ¿cuándo visitaste aquí?
Hace 2 años creo que fue, y tuve una exposición en una galería pequeña, pero la gente y la comida, el clima, y creo que hay algo muy internacional de Medellín,
Sí.
¿no? Hay mucha gente que viene de todas partes del mundo.
Sí, ¿dónde te quedaste cuando estaba aquí?
No me acuerdo que fue muy en una montañita y
Sí.
estaba al lado de un Domino's Pizza.
Yo creo que es poblado, porque cuando extranjeros vienen aquí, normalmente se quedan en poblado.
Creo que tienes razón, sí. Fue un edificio, o sea, fenomenal. Era como un edificio alto que parece como súper futurístico, pero padrísimo. Sí. Y cuéntame, ¿cuál es la cosa más diferente para ti estar allí en Medellín, casa, en California?
Dime otra vez porque no escuché todo.
¿Cuál es la cosa más diferente que encuentras estar en Medellín? Hay Starbucks, ¿verdad?
Sí, there is. Pero creo que solo uno o dos, pero no me gusta. Y no, honestamente no tomo café.
What?
Sí. No me gusta cafeína porque soy muy sensible de cafeína.
Qué interesante. Wow.
Sí. La cosa más diferente. Y no sé, porque hay mucho. Y
¿Verdad?
las mujeres, honestly, son un diferente nivel. Yeah, the women here are crazy. They're so attractive.
Qué bien, qué bien. Well, estoy feliz que estás feliz.
Sí. No sé, y yo dije, esto es el estilo el estilo de vida. Y porque aquí hay un cultural con ejercicio, es muy importante, ¿sí? Así que how do you say, encourages me? How do you say encourages me?
Me conmueve o me inspira.
Me inspira a hacer más ejercicio. No, Carmela, ya.
Carmela.
Hacer más ejercicio. Y cuando estaba enseñando inglés en una escuela, yo pregunté a mis estudiantes mucho sobre la cultura aquí. Y todos me dijeron que la familia es el más importante. Y a mí es este valor es muy importante para mí, porque en la cultura asiática es común que éxito es el más importante, ¿sí?
Oh, wow.
Y dinero y otras cosas, pero me alegra que la familia es más importante y felicidad, ¿sí? Y porque las personas no son ricos, o la mayoría de las personas no son ricas, es importante que la familia están juntos, ¿sí? Y a mí es una cosa o un tema que yo quiero descubrir y ya, esto.
Wow. ¿Y en 10 años te
Sí.
ves en Colombia todavía?
¿En 10 años qué?
En 10
¿Qué?
años, ¿tú te
Ajá.
ves en Colombia
Ah,
todavía?
mm, no sé, porque no es depende en yo, es depende en Dios, ¿sí? Y yo quiero quedarme aquí, pero en el futuro no sé, no sé qué quiero viajar o como descubrir otros lugares, quizás Europa, quizás Asia, no sé, en este momento no sé, pero yo quiero quedarme aquí por un rato, como 2 o 3 años, y después voy a hablar con mi novia o mi esposa, no sé, y qué queremos hacer primero, o como próximo. Sí,
Wow, qué bien. Tienes un plan, me encanta. Bueno,
sí,
te
sí,
deseo mucha suerte y creo
sí,
que te va a ir
gracias.
muy bien. Y quiero saber de más de la música que haces y todas las cosas que inventas.
Mm,
So, I'll be watching what you're doing, cheering you on from New York.
I appreciate you, man. Yeah, and I'll be doing the same for you, man. I'm really excited. I'm really happy that you reached out to me, man. This is really cool.
Dude, it's so funny that like attracts like. Like
Yeah,
I just out of the blue reached out, and who knew that you were gonna be in a city that I've been in? Who knew that you're a person from LA who left? I mean, so it's cool. It's cool, and I'm
all
so
right.
like I said, I'm proud of you. You're doing really amazing stuff, and keep at it.
Thank you, man.
So
Thank you, man.
I
Awesome,
will connect with you soon. Be well.
awesome, Louis. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Thank you.